Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Authors Who Own It Conference. I have been so excited about this conference all week long because we have some powerhouse people talking with us this weekend. If you gonna come in, you better be ready to take some notes, make some connections, and also own it as an author as well. So my name is good evening. My name is Dr. Kim Oglesby. I can say that now after 4 years of hard work. So I am Dr. Kim Oglesby. I am the founder of Black Authors Association and Literacy Moments Magazine. I just want to start off with a quick story about how all this began. Um, as a publisher and as a lover of books, I was looking for books to read as my downtime while I was in school. And I was like, where are all the Black authors at? So as I began my journey, I started searching Facebook, social media, going out to bookstores, just wanting to find Black authors. And then when I started meeting them, I was like, wait a minute, we need a place that we can connect, share resources, tell our stories, let people know when we wrote a new book. So I created this thing on Facebook called Black Authors Association, just wanting to give a platform for everyone to share information, meet each other. And it turned out to be like, 1,000 people. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. I know everybody by name. And now it has grown into an amazing platform, over 25,000 authors, and always being interactive and sharing with each other. It's been so amazing. This year, we were actually selected as in Philadelphia as the best Black networking organization among a whole bunch of organizations that actually were part of this platform. So we are doing great things on social media. We're sharing, we're being interactive. So not only was my dream to come true of finding great books to read, I was able to create a platform where I almost feel like family, right? You ask the question, somebody's going to answer it. You may get like 20 answers, but you're going to get an answer. So that was one of the things I wanted to make sure that, that platform was there and it grew and it stayed positive and informative. But also, one of the things I wanted to make sure that Black authors are heard. We advocate to make sure that we're in bookstores and stores and things of that sort, and also that we're respected as authors. Yesterday I was on a webinar, and I one of the authors said that last year, 72% of the books that were released were from Black, no, from white males. And I was like, wait a minute, we don't have that much piece of the pie. I said, oh no, I got more work to do. I have more work to do. So we need to chop that 72% just a little bit more to make sure they know that we are here, we're writing, we have stories to tell, people are reading our books, people are buying our books, and we should be part of this industry. So this is not just a movement just for myself, but it's for everyone. I really enjoy meeting other authors, having their input, and them sharing their stories and their knowledge. And that's where Authors Who Own It came from. I wanted to get authors that have been on this journey, ups and downs, good and bad, to share with everyone some do's, some don'ts, but also for you to see that face behind those words, that book cover and things of that sort. So we are really excited to have so many great authors sharing their knowledge, sharing their information, sharing about their book, and also making sure that those who come after us don't make the same mistakes, but also grow from it and also have some resources to be very successful in this industry. As you know, books are not going anywhere. 3 years ago, bookstores are starting to disappear. Now they are popping up everywhere. They're being creative. It's not just Barnes and Noble. They're coming up live everywhere with every genre, every city, small, large, community size. They are thriving now. Bookstores are coming back. So we should all be super excited about that. But now we have another thing called the internet, where we don't need to be in a bookstore, but we can sell on our own. We can get on social media and make those sales as well, making those connections with different people. So we have more resources now. But we also have to realize we still sometimes have to go back and do the old school things like talk with people, go to different events, call your church or your organization, say, I just wrote a book and I need for y'all to come out to support me. So you still need to do those old school things as well. But once again, like I said before, Authors Who Own It is really just our first opportunity to connect with each other this new year, to start some, build an agenda to move forward throughout the year. This is going to be a interesting year for all of us as it already started. So we need to understand that we have to all have a plan. And in that plan, you have to have a plan A, B, C, and D as a backup as well. But also with that plan, you have to have some connections to help that plan move forward. So hopefully through Authors Who Own It, you can get a plan together, make some connections along the way and work on your A, B, and C plan as well. And then if you're not sure where you're going to go, reach out to someone and say, hey, can I get your opinion? Or go to our wonderful Facebook group and put in something in the comments and someone will answer. All right. But without further ado, I have been waiting all week to hear her speak, and I cannot. She's shaking her. I am so excited to introduce Miss Latanya Orr. Just a little bit about her. Latanya is actually, she has her own company. I'm not going to actually spill everything because I'm excited. I want to hear from her. So she's going to talk to us about her unique concept. You better have a pen and paper, and she is going to give us some tidbits and tips. And you should be super excited to hear about what she has to share to us. All right, Latanya, it's up to you.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Kim. I don't take those degrees lightly, honey. So you put in the work, you need the you've made put the credential with your name, and it should definitely be spoken and mentioned all the time. So, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to everybody on this in this conference this evening. I'm trying to not be before you long, but I do have a few things I'd like to share. I do. We'll have some slides, and I do have. I'm just want to make sure that I do have. Yep, I do have sharing capabilities, and so. Uh, but I just kind of want to open up first again to say thank you for being here. I want to start by naming the room. So when I say authors, when you hear me talking about authors, I'm speaking to nonfiction writers. I'm talking to memorists, memoirists, novelists, poets, storytellers. So, and I'm also, of course, going to be talking about leadership. So my title is Crowned to Lead. Crowned is an acronym that I will be spelling out in the presentation this evening. And it's 8 steps. I sort of changed this a little bit, Dr. Kim, but 8 steps authors can take to monetize their message and multiply their impact. And so, just again, wanted to name the authors in the room, uh, and also to talk a little bit about the importance of telling your story. I know many of you have heard this. I believe that everybody has a book. If it's a memoir, if it's your professional book, if it's poetry, if it's nonfiction or fiction book. And so I feel like, I didn't write the 3 books that I've written just by chance. And so after 20 plus years of entrepreneurship, I added this third book, which is really kind of where I'm positioning this presentation from. So, yeah, so I just want to just kind of cover a few things with that. And then I will let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's see, desktop, you know, hmm, documents. Hold on just a minute, you guys. No, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Maybe I need to just open this. Okay. Now let me try. Yep. Okay, so you guys can hear, see that?
Yes.
And I want to do, there we go. Okay. You know, technology is, it'll beat you every time. Okay. So, oh, it just did something weird here. Okay, now can you see? Because I don't, can you see it says crown delete? You have a picture of a lady with her hand to her crown.
Yep.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, excellent. So, so there's 8 steps that I'm going to be presenting this evening. Again, Crown to Lead, 8 steps authors can take to monetize your message and multiply your impact. And so, why this matters. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. So books create visibility. Leadership creates sustainability. So when you think about this book that you're writing, think about, most people want to be, worried about how do I sell my books? But really, the better question is how do I build a sustainable life, income with my work? So, any leadership requires clarity, structure, regardless of whatever genre. So, if you think, oh, my poetry doesn't mean anything, yes, it does, because it is part of your intellectual property. So, we'll talk a little bit more about that. My journey. So, my journey is I've written 3 books. Initially, uh, for sake of time, I was I was told that when I do presentations, so I've been doing presentations as part of my career in terms of doing workshops and seminars and what have you. And so one of the things that was coming out is I was creating curriculum, really. I was creating these presentations. And so one day I had a friend of mine who said, Tanya, can you do a presentation to my Bible study group? It was to her Bible study group on Image is Everything. So Image is Everything was really my first working title for my book, and that was actually my next one, my foray into my career. So I've spent almost 30 years as a brand strategist, marketing communications professional. And so in those years, I again have been providing and presenting different workshops on marketing, on branding, on design, on various aspects of marketing. And so so when I was asked this to put a Bible study together, which was going to be over 4 weeks. And so when I was asked, I was like, oh my God, I had content, I had quote unquote curriculum, but I had not taken it to the next step in terms of how would someone really apply this in this perspective from a biblical standpoint. And so I then had to take my content and work through scripture, through other inspirational works, other writers, other authors, and I put together my first book, which is called Strike a Pose. And so in that, you become, as an author, you become this architect, really. You become this person that is massaging this content. And again, it doesn't, I'm talking to all authors, all writers, that you are essentially uh, uh, developing, designing, uh, creating it, so you're doing this with your work. And so you from my perspective, you could become you're an author, but then you become this architect person. And so and that's why I feel like that was my journey, but I also feel that when I talk with other authors, that is something that they have also gone through in terms of working through their writing. And you might write one chapter and it's like, oh, you might write chapter two and then think, you know what, this really should go in another book. So you're constantly moving material, constantly moving content. And so again, that's what an architect does. So step number one, actually, is the 8 crown steps. So I'm going to start talking about those. And so when I came up with my crowned framework, my crowned curriculum, if you will, the C or crowned, in this case, is claiming your authority. So you're going to claim your authority. So you're going to stop seeing yourself as just an author. You're not just an author. Your lived experience plus your insight equals your leadership credibility. So it's important to realize that you want to, most authors want permission. You know, no, you don't need permission uh, for someone to think differently about your writing. Your writing and your work is your work. So claim your authority in this process, in your writing process. Refine your message. Most authors have too many messages competing for attention. So you want to make sure that you clarify in this book, in each of your different projects, to clarify the one transformation your book delivers. I believe uh, that you provide or you offer with your book transformation. It could be transformation from a fictional perspective, but when you walk away after you've read that book, that fiction book, there is some transformation that happens. So you're going to have every opportunity that you have to convey a message offers transformation. So you want to make sure that your book does not confuse. And so that's where an editor comes into hand, comes to mind. I do recommend if you are working on your book that you do retain an editor, a professional editor, uh, not a teacher, that there's differences. You want someone that's going to read your work and read it from the subjective perspective to say, you know what, does this make sense? If what I said, does it make sense? And so you don't want anybody to be confused about what you've written. So you want clarity. So you're making sure that you refine your message. Next one. So you want to own the intellectual property. Your book is not just content, as I mentioned. It's intellectual property. Ownership means treating your work like curriculum. So I go back to when you do presentations, and these, of course, mostly this is relates to nonfiction writers. However, it's commentary. It becomes somewhat proprietary to how your experience, your lived experience, sort of coincides with you professionally. And so what you want to do is you own that. You own your intellectual property. Your book is an asset. It's not just, it's, treated like curriculum. It is not just content. Your book, as a writer, as an author, you're the worth of the work. It's kind of a tongue twister. Think of it as, a lot of people get, some discomfort when it comes, of course, to talking about pricing. When you start talking about pricing your services, he's like, oh, I don't want I don't want to overcharge. I don't want to, then you don't want to undercharge, and that's a whole nother talk show. But it's worth is not ego. its impact. So you want to make sure your book price, and when you get to that price, it's a process of going through publishing, but price based on transformation, not time or fear. So do not undervalue your work. When you undervalue your work, it limits your impact. So it's important to realize that underpricing doesn't make you humble. It limits who you can serve well. Navigate the pathway. So step number 5. I actually only could come up with one bullet. I was trying to do 2 bullets per step, but so for navigate the pathway, choose one aligned monetization path. So, one way to sell your book. And so again, when we talked about it from a professional perspective, that if it's your coaching services, if it's your experiences, if it's ministry, or it can be a combination of all of that. So your entire ecosystem of where your impact is. So navigate the pathway and then build upon that intentionally. Be very intentional. You don't need to do everything, but choose one way that really can serve and engage and put your work out there to receive the most engagement possible. For fiction writers and poets, this might look like readings, doing book clubs, doing poetry readings, doing poetry slams. Other opportunities to navigate in terms of the coaching experiences is, book, these kinds of things. Tonight we're doing conferences, special conversations. So you want to focus in on one, and then you can definitely branch out to other things, especially if people ask you, oh, do you do X, Y, and Z? So do you do a retreat? Do you do conferences? So those are other opportunities to navigate your pathway. But start one place and then move on from there. Again, engage beyond the page. So E, engage beyond the page. Readers need guidance, not more pages. So I have one of my authors, I have assisted over, I was trying to count, at least 100, maybe 150 people in my career with helping to publish their books. And so I have one in particular, one my dear friends, author friends, and no, I actually have two. Their books are and we're not talking about a fiction book. I'm talking about a nonfiction book where their page count was over 300 pages. So I had to then say to them, okay, so why don't you break this up into many books? You don't have to say it all in one book. Create, again, goes back to curriculum. It goes back to, having, you can do a trilogy. You can think of your work as an opportunity to build from one book to the next book to the next book. And so you don't have to have all of these pages. You want to provide the maximum impact from that particular topic without, just overdoing it. So you want to make sure that you're engaging beyond the page and that the connection multiplies the impact with the work. Design for sustainability. So you want to build offers in your, as you are selling and getting ready to sell the book once it's published, build offers that honor your capacity and energy and season. And so I've learned the hard way that, I think Maya Angelou says in and out of season. So you want to think about how your work fits with what you're currently doing. So if you're currently, doing presentations, and if you're currently, in the case of like for Dr. Kim, when you do a dissertation, usually, it's all these different components. And I've actually helped a few people who've written their dissertations to then take their dissertations and make it their layperson's book. You've done all this research. You can take some of the empirical data out, make it so a fifth grader can read it. So again, building upon, and honoring the capacity and the energy and the season that you're in while you're working, working and publishing this book so that you don't burn out. It's not a badge of faithfulness. It's not something that, you want to wear on your chest and, and like, oh, I'm working on this book, but I'm about to faint. No, recognize where you are in the process. And if you need to take a break, take a break. That's so, the whole self-care thing is very, very important. Number 8, impact with integrity. Impact with integrity. So align your income, your values, and your purpose. And really what a book does is it's legacy. It's a legacy for you. When you think about the Bible, when you think about books that have been here for hundreds and hundreds of years, when you think about the like the Aristotles of the world and the Platos and those who wrote, those works have lasted lifetimes, generations. And so think of your book the same way, that you are leaving a legacy for your family, for your constituents, the people that you've worked with, those who have that you had direct impact with, that people will refer to your work. Just like I mentioned Maya Angelou, I mean, there are people that will refer to her poetry, to refer to her books forever, because it made a major impact. And so what that does is build legacy. And so, and trusting that process. And it's very, not to say that is just very, so very important. Because it's really, at the end of the day, yes, you want to make money, but most people don't make money off of books. How you make money off of books is your book has to go New York Times bestseller. That's when you make some money. So, but what you want to do is make sure that your book, if you're doing presentations, that you have your book there with you always, that you use it through, if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you are a teacher, if, whatever your vocation is, that you have this work with you, that you can get, you can get paid in the nights, that there's constant income coming in as a result of the book. But just make sure that I just found out in my own experience that it should definitely go hand in hand, that don't walk out the house, put books in, just like the Temptations and people who back in the day sell their records out their car. You want your books in your car. You want someone wherever you could put, if you have them in your bag, they get heavy. But I'm just saying that you do have your books on hand at all times. That's very, very important. So that's all I really have for you all this evening. So you were never meant to publish quietly. I just want to leave you with a few things. You were never meant to publish quietly. This is something that is going to help you to lead boldly. So you were crowned to lead boldly. Your message is an asset. Your leadership is required. Your impact is necessary. And so you didn't write your book by accident. The idea for your book is not an accident. You don't carry this message, you don't carry this story just to carry it. There is a scripture that goes with that, is that that the words of your testimony will help another person to be enlightened. So you want that person, that their life might be changed by the words that you speak and the story that you tell. So you just want to make sure that you don't shrink what was entrusted with you. Authorship is leadership. It means it requires structure. The impact is inevitable if it's done decently and in order. And so, lead boldly with your work, and just and own it. I just say own it. The title of this conference is Authors Who Own It. Own your work. If you, I didn't birth biological children. So look at your book as an opportunity to birth something. It birth something that will again be left here for posterity, for all eternity, for someone else to pick it up and say, you know what? Uh, Kim wrote this, Latanya wrote this, Juanita wrote this. I don't know if you know them, but they said something in this book that has just revolutionized my thinking process. And so those are the things that you want to be when they remember or someone shares that, and you don't even have to be here. Like I said, you don't have to be here to still make an impact with your works. So that's what I got. That's what I got. Um, if you guys, I got a few minutes. Do I have a few minutes for questions?
Of course.
Okay. So, I was gonna leave this up for a minute, but I'll just take it down so I can ask you guys. I feel like I'm not in the room anymore. All right. Oh, my light. It fell down when I was giving the presentation. Okay. So any questions that anyone might have? Was this good for you?
Yeah, it was good.
Did I go too fast? Anything you
No,
want
no,
me to
no, no,
recover,
no, no.
re-go over? Okay.
So tell us about your books that you have written so far.
So I have them here. So this is Strike a Pose. I don't know what happens when you can see that.
Hmm.
So Strike a
Yep.
Pose. So this was my very first book. Again, I wrote this in 2016, so 10 years ago, actually this year, 10 years ago this year, I launched this publication. This I call it my business book.
Okay.
This is my career book. Like, so these are the workshops. Four of the first four chapters were my workshops curriculum that I already had
Oh
canned.
wow.
I call it canned sessions that I had. And then
Hmm.
what I did was I felt like it needed some more, and some of that came out as a result of doing the Bible study with the ladies.
Okay.
And so I ended up with seven. I strike a pose, seven red carpet strategies every entrepreneurial woman must have to position her brand with style and on purpose.
Mm, nice.
So again, 10 years. I'm actually thinking about doing I forget the name of it, but to do an update, if you will, of this
Hmm.
book, because 10 years ago there's some content in here that needs to be
Right.
updated. Obviously, it's been 10 years,
Hmm.
so a decade,
Hmm.
that I'm like, especially the tech.
Right.
So definitely want to bring, some attention to the new tech, of course, ChatGPT and all the
Hmm.
things with AI. So considering
Yeah.
doing that for this book. Then
Hmm.
I'm a widow. I'm
Hmm.
remarried, but I did have that experience. And so I put
Oh,
together this project called A Widow's Resilience. It's an anthology
oh wow.
project.
Nice.
What I initially, the thought was that I was going to write this book as, as being the sole writer,
Hmm.
sole author.
Right.
But I had some people who I say fortunately, unfortunately, I knew close to 50 widows.
Wow.
So I had this thought. I said, what if I just invite them to, to put together to write about their experience, basically.
Right.
And so 14 of us
Mm.
wrote this widow's resilience, moving wisdom keys for moving forward in life and love after death do us part.
Mm.
So put that project together, thinking about the next iteration of this as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. I've been approached,
Yeah,
Tanya, what we need to do a volume two. So thinking
yeah,
about that,
yeah,
thinking about that as well. And so then this is my latest book,
yeah.
published last year in 25. It's Found Her, Finding Me. This I consider my manifesto. This is the book that I come into, it was a coming to Jesus, but really was a coming to me, book where I've figured out, it took me, I mean, I'll be 60 this year. I have no problem saying
Mm,
it. But it took me a minute, a long minute to find myself. Um,
mm,
and so a lot of things, sort of led to this.
mhm,
But it really gives how a shift in focus reveals your extraordinary. And
mhm,
so that's all about, finding who you are, becoming the whole becoming who you are, discovering what your best life looks like. Everybody's best
mm.
life is different.
That's
And
true.
there's some things that, of course, sort of general that happen. But yeah, some principles to that I found that there were things that I learned in my life, not really a memoir, but just
Mm,
some principles that I just had a personal discovery, if you will. And so that's Found Her, Finding Me.
okay,
Yeah,
awesome. Oh,
yeah,
that's a good,
sure.
good bundle of reading.
Now I want these all to be New York Times bestsellers so I can start working.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, and that's easier than you think, really.
Hmm.
It's about positioning. It's
Yeah.
about I mean, I have several of my mentors who are bestsellers, have bestsellers, and again, it's all about positioning. It's about having the
Hmm.
right marketing done.
Right.
The marketing is
Mhm.
very important. That's been my
Yes.
that's been my career. So
Hmm.
the positioning aspect, not being afraid to own it.
Hmm.
Own it and walk it out. Walk it out.
We have a question in the chat from Monica.
Let's see. Okay.
She said, "Are you planning to write another book? If so, what might be the topic?"
Mhm. Um, so I'm going to help my husband write his book,
Oh.
um, which probably will end up being sort of a dual, like a two per, I don't know what I'm saying, but a dual written book.
Hmm.
He's actually written a book. He does have a one publication, one book, but to do a sort of a combination of how, some of it is about how we met. I'm a widow, he's a widower. And so to have some words to say about that.
Hmm.
That's probably going to be the next one. Mhm.
We have another,
Another question. What's a good marketing platform?
yeah.
Well, okay, so you got your social media.
Mhm.
So social is excellent, 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 excellent. If you are not using it, there's a lot of conversation that you can have. It can have a whole nother workshop or session on the good, the bad, and the ugly about social media
Mhm.
and how it relates to building your business, building your brand, selling a book, your products. So we can have an exhaustive conversation about that. I I'm of the mind that if you're not comfortable with social, to to discover which one you are most comfortable with as you are promoting your work. If you prefer to be on Facebook, use Facebook. if you want to use and not feel like you need to be on all 5, 6 platforms, 7 platforms. It's tough now because if it's just you now, if you've got a team of people helping you, okay, go for it. But if it's just you starting out to promote your work, again, find that platform that will best serve you, and you won't feel so overwhelmed by it versus trying to do. I'm on Instagram, on everyone, everything. TikTok. TikTok is absolutely incredible for products, classes, seminars. Is it the most comfortable platform? No. But it is for, again, doing your own research about what's going to be best, how you're going to be best served on social. Now, when it comes to marketing, sort of the traditional marketing perspective, that's my career. So I've done every aspect of marketing. So I've worked on the research side, I've worked media, PR media, I've worked design, I've worked the communications, which is another aspect of the media piece, strategy, the branding. So what I found is in for me that it goes back to image is everything. So having a polished image, um, the importance, what I write in my book, the importance of again, I talked about editing, having your book edited, working with a professional versus writing a book and you think it's great and it might be, but you need to have it edited for a number of reasons. And again, that could be a whole nother topic that we talk about this conference, but having it, having editing, having it proofread. So editing is one thing, proofreading is another.
Mhm.
So there's just various aspects of the publishing process, knowing how to navigate whether or not you want to be on Amazon, going
Mhm.
through the whole KDP process, putting your book up on, through their, going through there so that you can be on their platform. There's other distribution channels that are out there. You got Ingram Sparks. I mean, so again, you're having these conversations about what's best for you, for your work
Right.
to sort of expand, to engage your audience and how best to do that. I've, again, working with different people who wanted inventory because they're doing speaking engagements. They're always out, in the public eye and having their physical inventory in their garage or in their
Mhm.
basement, having their books, again, having them in the car, shipping them to where they're doing their presentations and doing their consults and those kinds of things. So it's like I said, there's so many different like layers to the whole publishing process with books. Don't become discouraged by it. Just know that there are these steps and just embrace it in terms of, from cover design. I could tell you that's another conversation. Editing, the whole typesetting, the layout of your book. That's very important. Amazon, there's these publishing like Amazon, Ingram Sparks. They're very particular about how you upload your book to them. They will
Mhm.
reject it in a second if does not meet their standards.
Yep.
So it's just being educated and informed about the process of writing your book. So it's the writing, it's the actual physical publishing of the book, then it's the marketing of your book. So it's all these different steps. And again, not to feel, to be overwhelmed by it, but just to realize that, you know what, maybe I need some help. Maybe I need
Mhm.
to, maybe I do need an assistant to help me to, navigate the process. Um, finding the resource. There's free resources. There are people who've written their
Mhm.
books and say, you know what, I'll help you because I did it.
Right.
So, just be open to the process. Open to the process. Okay, I got
Any other
the marketing
questions?
platform. Oh, for writing children's books. So I just helped someone write their children's book actually. She actually went on Lulu.
Yep.
Lulu. So again, just doing your research. Some of the marketing platforms will help you with your marketing. So I'm sorry, publishing will help you with your marketing. They actually have whole department that's there, like you can actually retain them for their, in terms of their marketing teams to assist with your marketing as part of your package that you purchase with, like I
Mhm.
said, with Lulu, and there's others out there. Let's see. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Lulu. hmm
Any
Anything
other
else?
questions?
Where's everybody? Where are you in terms of
Yeah.
your books? Who wants to share where they are in the process right now?
So I've written a children's book that's based on my family history,
Mm.
and it starts with a slave that purchases freedom and big bread for George Washington's troops. So I've been talking to libraries and schools. Um, it takes place here in Philadelphia, so I've been trying to get in to see the libraries in the area, and the book is in several libraries and several black bookstores.
That's excellent, excellent. So you guys think about when you're getting your uh when you're buying your ISBN number. So we again with this conversation, also look into getting getting your copyright, particularly again just protecting your intellectual property, but getting, copyrighting your work. The ISBN number does cover some of that copyright, but you want to make sure that you actually have copywritten your work, and that if you have illustrations and those kind of things that you do have, mostly of course in children's books, that you have a signed agreement with your illustrator if it's not you, because I just had this happen. So the person was using AI to do their illustrations. Well, Amazon KDB kicked her book back because she had illustrations. She had to acknowledge that Chat GPT or whoever had done her AI that she was using. She had to name that in the when you set up your account.
Mhm.
So there's, because, and they, like I said, they kicked her book back. So, well, you need to basically give credit to whichever this AI, app that you used. And so we had to go back in, and she had to name that and put that, actually literally on every page. It had to be
Wow.
designated on every page, pretty much. So just thinking about again, processes. And get your Library of Congress number. You cannot be in libraries. If you want to get your book, if you want your book to be in libraries, you must have a Library of Congress number.
Mhm.
So you don't have to have it if you don't want to be in libraries, then it's okay. But if you do want to have that as another opportunity to engage, audiences, get your Library of Congress number.
All
Let's see
right.
who else says this. Oh yeah, so that's a whole nother thing about translation. So I have a question here about just went live in English and Spanish. Yes, matter of fact, I just talked with this woman earlier this week about just had her book done in Spanish on Audible. So that's a whole nother opportunity for you is to you can do your own audio or you can have someone else to do your audio for you. You don't have to go through Amazon to do that. You can do it on your own. You can go into a studio and do your own reading of your own book, and then go through the process of course, uploading it through Audible. Or you can use, of course, set it up similarly to how people do podcasts. So there's all kinds of different ways to get your works out there. Now it's almost like, oh wow, I didn't know I could do that. So yeah, the translations. Um, Yeah, it's that's a good thing. That's an excellent thing, especially when you have all of that going on. Okay. Well, I think that's it. Um, I think that's it. What's a good place to trademark? Trademark.gov. Trademark.gov. Copyright.gov. Everything goes through the GOV.
Yes.
ISBN numbers. ISBN, I can put it in the chat. You get your ISBN numbers from Bowker, BOWKER.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's for ISBNs. Again, Library of Congress.gov.
Mm-hmm.
All that comes through the government's publishing division.
Yep.
Anything else?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you
Thank you
all.
so much, Titania. That was really awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I do.
I will put my information. I'm not sure if you had shared that, Dr. Kim, but the information about how you can reach me, I'll just put
You can
I have a
drop that
couple
in
of
the
different,
chat.
yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
I
Okay.
do have another question for
Oh, go ahead.
Sure.
when you mentioned the Library of Congress number,
Mm-hmm.
I was told that you could actually just donate your book. Like just take a book and donate it to the library. Yes, it's
Hmm.
giving away something, but also it's getting you out there to be acknowledged. Do you know anything about that or heard anything?
I have not heard that,
Okay.
Latanya. But if that is an opportunity, I say, at least look into it.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
Miss Joyce, when you got your books in the libraries there, is that how you did it?
I didn't, there are two I donated to because they were the large central library, but the other ones I had all my numbers.
Okay, so you do have number. Okay.
What do you,
Yeah, I
what
mean, if that it well, however, listen,
you, okay, when you say you have your numbers, I know you got to have your ISBN numbers,
I
but did you
do.
have your Library of Congress as well?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
yeah, so it's and how you can copyright, yes, you can go through copyright.gov, but you could actually another way, even easier way, you have to pay $45, I believe, is still the price for doing the copyright.gov. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and for even for like music, poetry, you submit to copyright.gov, you pay $45 to have it, that copyright, the legal, piece of paper that comes back. But also you can self-copyright. You can send your own copy to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You can send it to yourself, and you keep the envelope, so that just in case you are so called on the carpet, if you will, you have your own personal copyright by sending your work to yourself.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Titania. It was really
Absolutely.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All
Such a blessing.
righty. All right. And also make sure she dropped her information in the chat. Get those books. She has those three books is that's a great bundle. I already have them on my reading list for sure.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, so and they're
Yeah.
all available. All three of them are available on Amazon by title. So if you just, do Strike a Pose,
Hmm.
Widow's Resilience, and the Found Her book, they're all on available on Amazon. You can also order them on my website. So I did put my email address in there, so they are
Yes.
available at the Crown for Impact exp.com
Hmm.
website. So you can order them either way. Either way.
Okay.
Miss CJ just said, CF, I'm sorry, Miss
Oh,
Jackson just mentioned that she heard that it wasn't legit to send it to yourself. That might be something new,
yeah.
because since the pandemic, a lot of things have changed with some of these processes, and so that very well may be true. I would say, obviously, definitely do your own research, and if it's just easier, like I said, to pay the $45 to send it to,
Mhm.
copyright.gov, do it.
Mhm.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much again.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you. All righty. So we have another Latanya in the building
Oh,
joining
good.
us. So, Latanya, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. I think so. Yes, ma'am.
That's been awesome, Latanya. Awesome.
Yes. I saw that too. I was just like, wait a minute. That's not me. That's not me. And I saw the first one. I was like, oh,
But
there's two of us.
but you know
Greatness.
what I wanted to say is that it being two of us and it's spelled the same way. So usually
Yes.
most Latanyas are with the O.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I
Yes.
don't know. I say our mothers was thinking one thing.
Exactly. I got like, that's just greatness. That's all it is.
Hey, how about that?
All right,
Yeah.
Latanya, the floor is yours. Thank you, everyone. Latanya is ready. We're gonna
Okay.
we will
I just
not
gotta
still for a moment. We're
wait,
gonna
wait, wait.
give
I
her
just
her
need to,
time.
yeah, I just need to
Yes.
get everything. What's the word I'm looking for? Uploaded.
Okay.
Um, to share my screen. Hold on. I'm sorry. So please go ahead and talk. Give me a second. I'm trying to figure this out. Do anybody have any other questions in the meantime?
Mm,
No? Okay.
it's
All right.
quiet.
Let's.
It's Friday and it's quiet. Now that's
It's
something different.
Friday and it's quiet. Okay.
Usually the opposite.
Let's see. Come on.
So while she's getting that done, I'm going to give y'all I was going to wait to the end, but I'm going to give you a thinking question that I'm going to ask everyone. So you're going to fill in the blank at the end of the sentence. So the first sentence is I will, and this is what you to give you thought, you get maximum 4 words. I will da 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 da. And then the other sentence is I will not da 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 da. So at the end, I'm going to ask everyone to answer those two sentences. I will not. So it could be something personal, it could be something towards your book, but we're going to start off the 2025 with those two sentences filled in. So you got some time to think about it now. I gave us some hints. You can try, you trying to share your screen?
Yeah, I think I got it now. I think I got it. I think I
Yeah,
got it.
because I think it popped up before. So
And yeah, and that's what I did. I was just like, oh my God, no, it didn't. And it said it was and I'm just like, oh my God. I felt so bad. Okay, there we go.
yeah, it's coming.
Am I there?
Yep, we see
Okay.
some of it. Yep.
You see some of it?
Yeah, just it's you in the screen. Let me see if I can
What
let
about
me
now?
help out. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me just see if I can make it just the screen. Let me see. Let me see if the view options
Or maybe I need to,
because it's side by side. Um,
but do you see the whole?
okay, we see the screen. Yes.
Okay.
Finding a new normal. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to probably make your screen just a little bigger so because the slides
What about now?
yes, that's fine. Yep.
Does that work?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. But how do I see me to see if I'm moving? Okay, I don't even know. Since we right, we need a technology person.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, guys. How you guys doing this at evening? Beautiful Friday. I know it's different weathers in different part of the country. I hope you're
Yes.
enjoying everything. But I want to start off with this. What if the biggest story what is the biggest story that you ever been afraid to tell? Think about that. What is the biggest story that you ever been afraid to tell? Kim, did you want to say something?
No, I'm thinking.
I'm just thinking. And here's another thing. When we think about stories, they don't necessarily have to be right now, this juncture in life. It could have been when you was a child. It could have been teenage, adolescence, 20s, 30s, wherever. But maybe there was a story or a few stories that you wanted to tell but was afraid. So as you think about that, that's probably a story that needs to be heard.
Mm.
It really and truly is. It's probably a story that needs to be heard. So as we venture off to tonight, and I love what Miss Latanya was talking about as well, owning what we're trying to do, and that's tell our story. So tonight isn't going to be about writing faster or marketing harder. It's about our ownership. It is really and truly about our ownership, our stories, our voice, the next chapter. A lot of times we don't own our stories. We might tell them, but who do we tell them to? So we need to actually own it. We need to have our voices heard. We need to know where we're going. Okay. So are you able to, is that moving with me? Did that
Yes,
slide? Okay,
yes,
good. Okay.
yes.
So I'm inviting you into something deeper than authorship. This is a space that's about permission, permission to tell the truth, to release what's heavy, and to begin again. And the reason why I'm saying that is when you think about telling the truth, you have to be truthful with yourself. You have to realize what you've gone through, being able to face it, being able to embrace it, and be truthful with yourself. Some things are very heavy, very heavy. And you have to figure out a place to begin. And sometimes that's hard. So if you can, type one word in the chat that describes where you are in your author's journey right now. One word that may describe where you are right now in your author's journey. If you can type that in. Let me see if I can. Discovering. Okay. Monica says discovering. Can I get a few more? Writing. Okay. Publishing. Vic is writing, Kim is editing, Maureen is publishing. Okay, good. So we're starting. Shante is proud. I like that. Published author, Maureen. I love it. Okay, so we're at a place, okay, where we are in different stages of our authorship, where we're going. Okay, so let me go to the next slide here. So when we think about this, what does normal mean? When you think about this and where you at, what's normal about it? What does it mean? What does normal mean? Do you feel normal being an author? Do you feel different being an author? Anyone? Do you feel different? Do you feel like people look at you differently? No? Okay. Anyone else? They do. They do. Yeah, sometimes they do. They look at you differently. But I don't care, maybe Shante is saying. And that's powerful. We have to learn not to. We have to break that stigma because unfortunately, sometimes when we're trying to level up and we're trying to go to different places and what's becoming our new normal is no one else is we leave in other areas and we have to understand that. Okay. Um, I was in it for me all alone. Some people were surprised. I've been asked, how do you feel? How do you feel? Yeah. Some people try to check the temperature. So, but what I want to say is when you're writing your story, it's hard sometimes. And you really and truly, sometimes, I'm going to say sometimes, a lot of times our stories are about healing. It's going back, telling the truth, finding out what our new normal is. And our new normal, a lot of times, is just going back and realizing what we need to tell, what we need to be honest with. How do I get my voice out? How do I get my voice out? How do I tell the world my story, my truth, without being judged, without feeling like someone's thinking that I'm better than them, or that, um, how dare I put that, in my generation, you wasn't allowed to air out your laundry. So you had to keep things quiet. But we need to start talking and telling our truth. So when I think about it, before I became an author, I was surviving. I was just surviving. I survived from grief, loss, identity shifts, but yet showing up strong on the outside while I'm hurting on the inside. High functional, um, high functioning, putting that mask on, knowing that I need to heal. Let me see, someone wrote here, I be, Monica, people have been supportive for the most part. I recently wrote children's books inspired by my adult books, and new energy is happening around my work. Who would have known the power of children's books? Yeah, the power of your story, period. New energy, the new normal, the new truth, the new voice, you know? And like I said, in my stories, it's a lot of grief, it's a lot of loss, identity shifts, and our stories has to be told. And I'll start off with just saying, for the simple fact, at the age of 13, I was raped. I was forced to give up my baby girl, but I've been blessed to find her in 2021. We talk every day ever since then. My mom had cancer, committed suicide. Um, Becoming a people pleaser. Just, I didn't think I lost my identity, but as I write, I find out that I did lose my identity. But all these things became my new normal. But as I go back and think about these things and start to heal from them, it makes a difference. And I'm putting it in my books. I'm putting them in writing. I'm getting a different energy, a different mindset. It gave you strength. Thank you. And beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Your stories have the power to heal. Yes. And that's the beautiful thing about the whole thing about writing is when we're writing, if we think about our purpose, our stewardship, it's not for us. It's for the big God, for God. We're writing for a purpose. It's not for us, it's for others. And we have to keep that in mind. When we share our stories and we let our voices be heard and we put it on that piece of paper, it's something that resonates with so many, and you will find so many people that you did not realize needed that story. If you think about what Miss Latanya has said when she is a widow and she put things out, and then this whole group of women came. That's the things. We don't realize it. We don't really realize it. So we have to learn to tell our stories and embrace our new normals while we are healing, because writing is a form of healing. For those of you who are here, how many of you who are in your writing stages or thought about it, look at it as a form of healing or healed from it? Anyone? Monica said yes. Anyone else? When you're writing, your form of healing. Or it brings back memories. Or it takes you back. And you be like, oh my God. Huh. I didn't realize that. Wow. Yes, Maureen said yes. Shantae said it made me go back to college to get my degree. Wow. That is awesome. But sometimes we don't realize that we are stuck in different situations. And that keeps us from telling our voice. That keeps us from stepping up. That keeps us from doing so many different things. I think Miss Latanya and them said this before. We get comfortable. We get comfortable. And what we see where a person may be, that's their situation. But when we write, we may be able to bring someone up with us. Or we may be able to go back and find something that we need for ourselves, which is also going to help us grow, get our voices out, write more, tell stories. Here's another thing, when you guys are thinking about the stories that you're planning to write, how are you feeling? Do you find yourself now telling your story more, or does it become more easier? Anyone? Does your story now become easier to tell? I think it's easier. Yes. 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 Easier and exciting. Yes, it is exciting. I mean, I remember when I first started mentioning about, because here's the thing, my mom, I'm in a day where you don't say anything. My mom and them said, you're gonna have you're having this baby and you got things to do. You're gonna give it up for adoption. I didn't have nothing to say. I couldn't say nothing. You're gonna shut your mouth and not say anything about it. As a young lady who's following directions, I did exactly that. And not to maybe 4 years ago, I started saying it. And I started in my classroom by just telling my students. And it became easier and easier and easier. So we have to realize that the stories that we tell that become easier for us, that may start off hard, but they become easier for us to tell, that's helping other people acknowledge where they are or relate that they're not alone. Because a lot of times we think that we're alone when we're doing something. Monica said through telling your story, you own it. Yes, you do. You own it. Authors who own it. Yes, you own it. It's exciting. You feel good about it. Okay. So let me keep going here. So when we think about what does the new normal mean, so many of us don't, like I just said, you're not alone. It's like so many of us don't need motivation. We need permission. We need to give ourselves permission. And I want you to raise your hand or put a yes if you ever felt like you had to be strong for everyone else, but didn't know where to put your own story. You had to be strong. Sometimes we as women, we carry so much on our backs. Joyce got her hand up. Shantae says always, we got to be strong for so many people. that we put our we don't have it for ourselves. Latanya said yes. It can be, Monica said it can be very exhausting. Exhausting is not the word. Overwhelmed. Where you can't pour back into who? Yourself. You can't pour back into yourself. You like, oh, you cannot pour back into yourself because you done gave it all away. So when we think about the new normal, we got to get rid of the old. We got to break the stigma, and we got to figure out how to heal and get rid of the old. And the only way truly to get rid of the old is to go through the steps of healing. Because now you understand it and you're able to move forward. So the young lady who mentioned about going back to college, her writing or thinking took her back to college, I pretty much can bet that it made her think of something that was old and she wanted to change it and make it her new normal. So she was like, you know what, let me go back and get my degree. Who was that again? I'm sorry, I lost that. Who was that, if you don't mind unmuting and coming? Yes, I remember when I was happy. See, I remember when I was happy.
Hello.
Yes, Shantae. Thank you. What
Um,
when you was telling your story, what made you want to go back?
well, to back up, I lost my mom and my great grandma and my grandma in 2023. So I had the story in me, but I was afraid. And going through the grief process and therapy and all that this past year or so helped me. They kind of pushed out of me the moments I was happiest, and it was working with children and writing. And I brought my book out last year, December.
Yay, that is beautiful. That is something. Congratulations.
And
And
went
that's
back to school. Yeah.
and that became your new
Grad-
normal.
Yeah, it is. It's like I graduated in March. It's like my life. And so I'm going back to finish my master's and doctorates now.
Yay,
Yeah.
congratulations. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you for sharing, Shantae. Thank you. But
Hmm.
when we think about it, though, that was the old. But like she said, you got to heal. And here's the thing, a lot of times we don't realize a lot of our healing comes from our childhood. Or I should say, a lot of our trauma comes from our childhood and we carry it into adulthood. And we don't understand why we in certain situations. We don't. And we struggle. And that keeps us from letting our voice be heard. How many times you've been into a conflict or you're dealing with something or you know you want to speak up, but you be like, oh, and you just sit back. Fear of things, yes. Fear. The fear. That doesn't mean that you don't want to address it, but it's hard. And sometimes we don't know what we're going through. We don't know why we're stuck. We may feel like we're very comfortable here. We got a successful life, boom, boom, boom. But God has us for a purpose for everything we're doing. And we just need to figure out how to get there. So we have to sometimes unstick ourselves, pull ourselves through. And when I say pull ourselves through, I don't mean just keep moving forward with that mask on. I mean pull ourselves through where we go back and we feel what we have to figure out what's going on, what happened. When was I happiest? I may think I'm happy now, but ooh, let me look at this. Or when did I lose my voice? Or when did I become this person? Or why am I always giving everything? We got to learn our purpose. Um, right, get uncomfortable. We got to get uncomfortable. And sometimes writing your story is uncomfortable. But your story is for a purpose. So think about that. Your story is for a purpose. It's your invitation to define your life on your terms. Not on nobody else's terms, but God, but on your terms. You get to choose your new rhythm and priorities. Yes, writing my first book was uncomfortable, Monica says. Yeah. I know with me first starting off too, it was like I had to go through a lot, but then it also was the judgment or feeling like I had to be perfect. When you see everybody writing these thick book, here, I'm gonna use this, a thick, let's see if I can get in there, a nice thick book. So, I feel like my book has to be 2, 3, 400 pages. But then I turn around and I see other people writing books for 15, 20 pages. That's another thing. Our story don't have to be told in 3, 400 pages. That's comparison. You see me. Yes. Yes. You can actually write your story in 15, 20, a pamphlet. Because if we think about it today, as we move forward in life, as an educator, and as we see people, their mind is not able to stay focused that long. So we have to also remind it's okay to write a short story. Short stories can be just as powerful. Keep that in mind. So you choose your rhythm, you choose your priorities. Okay, so let me keep moving here. So let go of the old expectations. Shift from why me to why now. Why now? Why now? Why do you guys want to write a book now? I know I think about it. I've been wanting to write a book for at least 30 years. And I'm just like, you know what? Why not? So why now? Anybody can tell me why they choose to write a book now? Anyone? Did I miss? Okay, there we go. To help others. Maureen said to help others. I know I started my book. The reason why I started is I just, as an educator, I just love to break things down in simple forms. That's what I try to do. I try to just break things down in simple forms and to help me heal through things. And I just realized how many other people were going through things. Joyce said to heal. Shantae said to be free. Maureen said to help others. Yeah. But once again, that's you get to a point where you're starting to let go of the old. And that's a positive thing because hopefully while you're letting go, you are healing. And then things just continue to manifest through your mind as you're writing. You be like, oh man, it's so many things that starts to connect that I didn't realize when I was younger. Things starting to connect, things starting to make sense. So when I think about it, we don't write to heal. You write as you heal. As you're healing, you're writing. So I think I said that wrong. You don't heal after you write. You write as you heal. And that makes a difference. You're writing as you heal. And as you're healing, once again, you're letting go of the old. Okay. So let me keep going here. Vicky says, I've written other novels, but took a break during the pandemic. I published again in November for the first time in 4 years. Now I like to get my rhythm back. Yes, yes. And here we go. I find myself with a notebook, with a book, and I don't even know. I just write stuff. Little things. That's another thing, part of being an author. Just write things. If something comes up and you're somewhere or on your phone, I have a note area where I just put a couple things down. Ooh, da 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 da. Or I'm talking to someone and they bring up something. I'd be like, ooh, da 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 da. It could be a couple sentences or whatever, but those are books or that you could be writing about. Yes, I carry a little notebook. Monica says she carries a little notebook as well. Yes, yes. Okay, so it's the shift from why me to why now and making it happen. Okay, so let go of the old expectations, limited beliefs, and habits. What beliefs are you ready to let go? Think about that. What beliefs are you ready to let go? Like I say, I know one for me was just the fact of I got to write a 300 page book in order for it to be a book. So I had to let that belief go. No, I don't. Um, that I wasn't good enough. Ooh, yes, I wasn't good enough. How many times have we got ready to do something like I do different events and retreats, and I'd be like, oh my God, it got to be perfect. It got to be perfect. It got to be perfect because that's what we're taught. We're taught as a minority that whatever we do, it has to be perfect. So because we feel that it has to be perfect, we feel like we cannot make it a mistake. And because we cannot make a mistake, we don't move forward. We don't move forward and we sit on it. So we have to learn to move forward. And in that moving, you're going to make mistakes. That's part of life. But what I learned from that is that's when you bring out edition 2. So you got one edition, you got your first edition, you found something was wrong, you bring out the second edition and the third edition. Think about that. How many books got different editions? You'd be like, it's the same stuff, different edition. Something to think about. Thank you, Kim. So true. Thank you. So, what beliefs are you ready to let go? Think about that. Okay. So, let's create your new normal. The formula: mind shift, life shift. What if this transition is guiding you to something better? Writing is guiding you to something better. Mind shift, life shift. What's your purpose? Who are you? You got to reconnect with yourself. That's one thing about writing that I've learned. You have to reconnect with yourself. And in reconnecting with yourself, it is a journey. It's a healing journey. And it's a mind shift, a life shift that brings a new normal and expectations and letting go and healing. And mine started off in silence. Everything I'm sharing tonight starts off on a stage. It did not start off on the stage. So everything I'm sharing tonight didn't start off on the stage. It didn't start off doing presentations, being a speaker. It started off in silence. It really truly did. It started off in silence. How many times have we just been silent? Like I said before, when we wanted to say something. And then from that silence, we like may have gotten past it, but now we're in between. Then we go from in between, and then we're like beyond. So think about that. What if this transition is guiding you to something better? Your writing is guiding you to something better. But there are so many stigmas that we have to get over and we have to break. And we have to surround ourselves with people who are going to support us through it. Because as we know, there are always going to be the haters. And we have to break that and that mind shift. And not say, I don't care. That's not the answer. Saying I don't care what they say is not the answer. It is, okay, let me move in a different way. That's the key. Let me move differently. It may hurt to move differently too, because you can't take everybody with you on your journey. Sad to say. So keep that in mind. So, like I said, mine started off in silence. When I think about my books, they're not manuals, they're companions to help people walk through things. They are for the moment. I just started feeling things and I just started writing. So, okay, let me keep going. The foundation of the new normal is clarity. Clarify your core values. What's your values? Sometimes you got to revamp them. Thank you. Thank you so much, Latoya. I love this. Books are companions. Yes. Books are companions. They guide us. Okay. Foundation of your new normal is clarity. What's your clarity? You got to be clear. You got to find your purpose, your stewardship. Understand what you're doing is not for you. You have to choose the action that aligns with your purpose. And like I was saying, you know, we have those haters or those people who are not supporting. So our actions may have to change. Close old doors and open up new ones. And as you heal, that will happen. And that don't mean you got to be mad at anybody either. Because you got to realize we have to meet people where they are, not make them feel like crap for who they are, but understand where they are. And we have to move forward, knowing our worth. Yes, Shantae, knowing our worth. Progress doesn't have to be perfect, just consistent. Just consistent. It's not going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes. Ask for help. Ask for questions. Don't be. It's many times when I be like, I'm embarrassed. You know, I'm asking that. I don't know. But we have to get around and align ourselves with people who are going to help us and not judge us. I have a young lady who she knows I'm overwhelmed. I got this going on, and she'll call me up and she'll be like, okay. And she gets me back online and help me with whatever it is I need to. And I appreciate it so much. And it's powerful to have that versus calling you up and saying, well, why you ain't got this done? All the beat downs, which makes us do what? Shut down. The beat downs, what we think is we're helping someone else could actually be hurting them because we don't know what they may be going through. So that's going to be part of your new normal too. It's giving people grace no matter where they are. But that means you may have to look at a different alignment. But that doesn't mean that you have to be mean about it or I don't know what the word. You still can be there, but just know where you are in that alignment. Okay. Let's keep going. Use it as fuel. Yes. All right. So we're going to take one brave step. And that's ownership. Being an author isn't about publication. It's about permission. It's really and truly about permission. It's to stop shrinking our stories or hiding our stories and letting our voices be heard. Stop waiting for validation because you probably won't get validation from the people that you really want validation from. I'm going to say that again. You probably won't get validation from the people you really want validation from. Maybe they don't know how to validate. That's something I've learned in this journey. They may not know how to. So your story doesn't need to be louder. It just needs to be truth, your truth. So don't wait to feel ready. Your next right step, one simple action, and progress. One decision at a time. Okay? So your new normal begins now. Your new normal just begins now. Type, I'm not what happened to me. I'm what I choose to become. That's Carl Jung, excuse me. In the meantime, as you think about that, type this with me in the chat. My story matters. Please. In the chat, type my story matters. And keep saying it to yourself. My story matters. My story matters. And it does. No matter how minute you may feel it is, how scary it may be, it matters. Your story matters. Okay? So continue your journey. I have a few different books. These are my books were written for quiet moments. A lot of journaling when your journey, because your journey continues. They're not manuals, like I said, they're companions. They're created to help you reflect, heal, and step forward with clarity. I know that she may ask me what my books are about. I have a trilogy: Beneath the Silence, Between the Silence, Beyond the Silence. I have a book around the holidays, The Cheers of Grief. I have a journal, Love Challenge, a 30-day love challenge. I have a children's book that's coming out. I'm still working on that. Trying to think what else I have. That's all I can think of right now. But yeah. This is your time. Every author has already owned something powerful, and your story matters. You are the power. The question is whether you are going to let it stay silent or allow you to guide yourself through it. And don't be afraid to ask for help. And your journey doesn't begin tomorrow, it begins tonight. So when you get done, start writing. It could be little things. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a whole lot. Just little things. That makes a difference. Little things that add up. Make you think. Okay. So this here is my QR code. But yeah. And then I just want to thank authors who own it. Thank you for being a part of this experience. Your present matters. Your story matters. And I look forward to hearing about all your stories. So yes. Any questions? I'm ready. Hello? Y'all there? Nobody say anything? Y'all good? Hello?
Yeah, that was awesome. Yes. We still here.
I'm like,
Yes.
hello? Did everybody go to sleep? Did I bore y'all?
No, 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 not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
So, any questions? What we got, guys? Throw them out there.
Well, Dr.
And
Latanya, I don't have a question, but I really enjoyed your presentation. Sorry, I'm feeling a little congested. It's the Chicago code thing going on, but I should be good by tomorrow. But I
okay.
really enjoyed your presentation. Thank you so much. I think just the notion of the new normal that resonates to me on so many different levels, but kind of like owning your story and being permitted to tell your story and being fearless to tell your story. So I really appreciate you coming into the space and just kind of being very authentic
Thank
and
you.
connecting with all of us. So thank you.
Thank you, Monica. I appreciate that because that's just I'm very authentic. I don't believe in I'm a life coach. I am a coach as well. I am a I'm a coach. I love what I do. I I I'm I know I'm in God's given purpose. I know that because I am blessed to meet people where they are and then help them rise to where they want to be. And you hear me what I'm saying, where they want to be. Because a lot of times we try to push theory or things on the people that they're not ready for. But they need someone to guide them, though. So, yes, thank you. Thank you, Monica. All right, any other questions? Thoughts?
I think we need to remember that we need to include our children so that as we're writing, some of the books should address some of the issues that they have.
Yes. Yes. I agree 100%. I just written, and I'm hopefully be able to get it out within, I'm gonna try to get it out hopefully by April. I don't know. A teen about breaking up. My son, yeah, first, you get your first crush, your first love, and it's like, oh my God. And then you go out and you make the mistakes again. And then you do it again. So my book, I was just like, Lord, what am I gonna do? Okay, how do I guide this? Oh, let's put this in a book. There we go, because they need it. And believe it or not, some adults need it. How do I stop? We don't realize that when we get out of a relationship, we need to pause, understand it, heal from it. See, that's part of healing. People don't realize something simple as that. Pausing and stopping. What did I lose in this relationship? What did I gain? What did I like? What I didn't like? What made me different? What all those good things. And what can I carry forward into my next relationship? That's a lot of times we carry baggages into our next relationships that we don't mean to because we didn't heal from the previous one. So, yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Any thoughts? No? Okay. All right. I thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much for everything. And I will definitely put my information into the
The
group chat.
chat.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Latanya. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. Thank you. That was really awesome. Wow. All I can say, Latanya, it just was, that's what I mean, at a Friday, that's what I need. It kind of made me think. I took notes. I wrote stuff down. I call it my posters. When I do these conferences, I always have like a wall full of posters afterwards. And my poster said, and I'm gonna probably put it on a bigger piece of paper. Mindset shift equals life shift. I love that. I
Yes.
love that. That one
Yes.
was like, ooh, I had to put that on a post-it.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Check this out, guys. I'm an ambivert. Do anybody know what an ambivert is? You
Hmm.
got your introvert and you got your extrovert. I'm an ambivert. So like right now, I'm just like so like I want to shrink because you just like it's so good. But that's just it's like I sit quietly, but then when it's time, it just authentically comes out.
Mhm.
And that's just I'm a quiet person, but then I'm just like, oh my God, okay, don't say too much. And I'm trying to stay up there because that's part of it. It's just like let people be like, well, let it shine, let it be. And I'd be like, I'm so
Mhm.
used to just, no, I want you to go. I don't want to be the
Mhm.
so yeah. Thank you so much, Miss Kim. I appreciate it. I'm goofy. I'm so
Yes.
sorry too.
So I got my post-it from you, and then from the first Latanya, my post-it was transformation. Your book has had one transformation. So y'all got I got two posters I'm gonna put up on my wall to memorize. But those things stick out in those things are really important as we move forward as authors. And like I said before in the beginning, as the speakers come up, think of something and take a note because that may take you to the next level. It will take you to
Mhm.
the next level as well.
Yes, because
So
yeah, for Miss Latanya too, I had wrote, some things down too, and that was the
mhm.
transformation, the
Yes.
important, even though I'm saying it, it still resonates differently when it comes from
Mm-hmm.
someone else, and people don't realize that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank
And
you.
Transformation.
I just want to say that books are companions. So
Yes.
so books are companions. They're part of your transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So so as you write your, your story, and then so you're not only you're providing transformation for yourself that then is going to turn and provide transformation for that reader.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how we engage our audience. I mean, that's how we engage. That's how it becomes legacy for you. That
Mm-hmm.
is not just written words, that it means something. And
Yep.
I definitely, yeah, yeah, I mean, I love progress doesn't have to be perfect, just consistent.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
That was excellent. I love that, Latanya. And
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I wouldn't have said it that way, but that's, I always tell my clients that as a marketing professional, it's always so important to be consistent. So,
Yes.
Yes.
when you start talking about, from a marketing perspective, you're talking about what you're doing on social, what you're doing, if you are, engaging, doing some traditional PR, if you're doing, flyers, and so where your image is everything should have is be consistent. You shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have this piece looking like this way and then another piece looking another way. Because people, just like when you think about logos, so when you think
Mm-hmm.
that swoosh, you immediately, even you don't have to see Nike,
Yep.
what that emblem stands for. And so when you think about things that have, that you have long-term memory about, that, just being consistent in your messaging is because that's how you build your brand, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's how people come to know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And like I said, we're gonna make mistakes. And I know, Miss Latanya, you're saying that you want things to be aligned,
Mhm.
with not having different things. It may happen. And if it does happen, don't beat yourself up and shut
Oh
down.
no. Oh no, absolutely not. Don't despise small beginnings by any stretch of
Mm-hmm.
imagination.
Hmm.
Please do not. But just know that when you know better, you can do better. And so
Yes.
That's
you
right.
go from one level to the next. That's what God wants us to do. He wants us to go from glory to glory to glory. And in order to do that, you got to start somewhere. And
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
then to Latanya's point about having those people and resources around you that
Yeah.
can then help you to go to that next level and not feel any kind of way about it. Like, you know what? I need to take my stuff up, a notch or
Yeah.
two or three or four so that I'm positioning myself to make the maximum impact.
Yes. Yeah.
So you definitely don't despise whatever. If you start with doing your own PowerPoint, doing your own logo, start. Absolutely
Yeah.
start. But then, if somebody comes along and says, if you have that expert or that mentor to come along and say, you know what, don't take it personal. Take it that, maybe I do need to, take it up a notch. Maybe I do need,
Mm-hmm.
I always, if you take, and that's what on marketing, if you hired a marketing professional or someone to assist you in that area, that's their whole job is to help you to look your best, to project your best. And if they don't, then they're not helping you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're still staying right here, if you're still staying down here, then that means they're not taking you to where you really should, be on your way to.
And
Uh,
may I
you know,
add to that
so
too?
yeah.
If you stand down here and you don't find growth
Mm,
because you're working with someone, I'm gonna go back because a lot of us are old enough probably. It goes back into the day when our musicians, if anybody's seen about, was it New Edition or yeah,
mm,
how they got their contract, but they wasn't making nothing. They doing all that work, but wasn't making nothing. So if you still down
Mm-hmm.
here, you got to realize, are you rising? You may
mm,
feel good, but are you really rising? Because you'd be
yeah.
surprised. That's why I say you'd be surprised how many people that don't know how to carry you up. They talk or don't know how, but they will keep you here because that's their normal. What's
Mm.
your new normal?
Mhm.
What's yours?
Right, right. And then
Eh,
some people just hold you down anyway.
Yep,
You mentioned
facts.
that,
And I
you
will say
know.
this too.
Mhm.
AI, guys. I know a lot of people are not comfortable with AI. Not AI to write your things out, but AI, and maybe I can talk to and we can have a class though. AI,
Mm.
you can use AI to do so much to help you with everything that you need. If you just don't even know where to start, you can
Yep.
talk to AI and AI will help you go through it. And if you don't
Yeah.
understand what AI is saying, you can have AI to break it down. It's some, and I'm sitting here, I'll sometimes like, you know what? My AI name, her name is Journey. I say, Journey, you know what? I'm not understanding this. Can you break that down to me like I'm a third grader, a sixth grader, a second grader? I'm not embarrassed to say that,
Mhm.
but a lot of people are. You see what I'm saying? So use AI. If you let AI learn how to use AI because AI is our future. And if we don't learn it, we're screwed. I'm so
Mm.
sorry to say that, but we are. Well, you got to learn AI and you got to learn how to use it. So,
Mhm.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely will be left behind.
yes,
And
And
then one more
also,
thing to that with
yeah.
AI. If you use an AI, you need to put in AI what you want it to know about you. Don't make it create something about you. Input information that you want it to know about you. And that's important because when people start using AI and put want to find out about you, it's going to make up whatever they can think for the internet. But if you tell exactly the AI you want it to know, then that way it keeps it consistent about your brand.
yes. Teach AI. AI is a second you.
Mm-hmm.
AI can become a second you. You have to teach AI to be you. It's just like my
Mm-hmm.
one of my sons, he comes out and he tells me, "Oh, well, AI says I can do this." I said, "AI don't know you black." We have to teach AI to be know us. And
Mm-hmm.
once AI is a second you, and once you talk to AI and tell AI who you are, where you are, and I want I want you to humanize using me.
Mhm.
It's key words too. So yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it will learn you too. If you're using it
Mm-hmm.
consistent on a consistent basis, I mean, it sometimes I'm like, what? You got that? It will learn you. And
Mm-hmm.
some of it is a little, like, ooh, okay, you can go there if you want to and think it's, kind of spooky, but really, you want especially when you're out, when you're, you know, when you have these ideas and you need
Right.
to spin the idea off on somebody and you want to get some positive response and reaction, you're more than likely going to get that positive response. That AI tool is going to break it down, like you can ask it, okay, give me 4 or 5 reasons why X, Y, and Z. And it will
Mm-hmm.
tell you by like what to Kim's point about putting that content in there that you want it to then just work it. And it does sometimes it's like, wow, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
It
Right.
takes an idea and just builds on your idea. And so, don't be afraid of it. I think
Mm-hmm.
initially I was a skeptical. I was so much afraid. I was like, really? Just like people have conversations about about crypto. Okay. It's a lot of skepticism, really. And really what it comes down to is just that you need to have an education. You need to have a
Mm-hmm.
learning moment. It
Right.
may not be for you, but at least have at least have the information to then decide if you want to do crypto. And that's with anything. If you think about
Right.
anything that we have learned in our lives, it's about getting all the facts, all the information to then make a decision if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. And
And so, yeah.
I will say this too about AI when it comes to writing, guys, things that you're not for sure about. Hey, I
Mm,
want to trademark this. What do you think? AI will walk you through it. AI will give you
absolutely.
the first step, the second step. AI, you can
Mhm.
copy and paste the application and then it'll tell you how to fill it out. But please just read it and make it you.
That's key.
Please read it and make it you, though. That's the thing about AI is teaching you. So as an author, AI will guide you how to get your ISBN numbers,
Oh,
copyright, um, the steps to take. Maybe maybe even giving it your first part of whatever you've written. But you're like, I don't know where to go next, so I
mm,
want to do more. It can give you ideas, but then you write from your heart with your
yes.
purpose and your
Mm-hmm.
clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for the input. Anyone else have any post-it notes or any information they would like to share? Mhm.
Thank
Latanya?
you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, we have like about 15 more minutes. I want to go around well, I'm going to wait to my question, but I want to go around the screen and if everyone can introduce yourself and if you have a book that you've written, can you let us know? Monica, you want to go? Because I know your voice is, we got to save that for tomorrow.
Yes. It's so sorry. It's like I guess it's cold in my house, so that's why I got this blanket on. But anyway, first and foremost, it's such a pleasure to be in this space. Thank you, Dr. Kim, for having this space, this ecosystem, this platform. It is a pleasure to be in community with all of you fabulous, fabulous women, and Black authors. From what I can gather, I really appreciate being in this space with all of you. So I wrote my first book in 2020 and like so much was resonating with everything that was said. Kind of it was a year, COVID, but also a year I was going through some grief because my mom had a massive stroke and went from being with my mom, talking to her daily, seeing her several times, and with COVID, she was in a nursing home and didn't see her for a year. So the time I was
Mhm.
spending with my mom, I ended up sitting down to write a book that was supposed to be, it took 7 years to write, literally 50 pages, and it's like
Mhm.
the whole thing's like all the things that you mentioned, like I was told I should write a book, that my story would be inspirational. I thought it had to be a bestseller, 250 pages, all those different things that, everyone was kind of mentioning. And my book is literally the first book is 50 pages. And my books are all about helping people cultivate their risk-taking skills, and for my
Mhm.
young readers, bravery skills. So it's called Everyday Daredevil. And achieving a life you once believed was unimaginable. So 50 pages. Since those 5 years, and there's so much that's resonating, I've written about 11 that are public. Well, actually, 11 that are published. Wrote a textbook that recently I'm using, so that's 12. And we're in
Oh,
the midst
awesome.
of some middle grade books. But it gets
Nice.
to I think what Miss Latanya or had mentioned. You have so much you want to write. You don't have to put it all in one book. It can
Hmm.
be several parts of a series.
Yes.
So anyway, I have adult books, guided journals, and other materials like coloring books, like you're looking at low content kind of materials. For my adult series, I do a lot of different workshops, experience like Latanya, Miss Latanya, or you mentioned the experiences. That's kind of how I get in, so I do a lot of activation activities and things like that with my books. But the crazy thing is, I talk in schools, and at the time I had adult books. And my teachers were saying you need to write like a children's book. And I wrote the manuscript like a year prior to getting it published these children's books in May, and it has kind of taken off. So I think for everyone on this space, I mean, if you have adult literature, yeah, and I think Miss Joyce, you mentioned this. Think about the young ones because there's like a whole audience of young ones. So I have picture books, and then there was a demand for the middle grade books. So working on a series of the middle grades for this year. So anyway, it's a pleasure, pleasure, pleasure to be in the space with all of you.
Thank you. Joyce, you want to tell us about your book again? Okay. Shantae, you want to tell us about your book, Bubbles, Struggles?
Bubble struggles. Yes. Hi. My book is it talks about 10 emotional roller coasters that we all go through. It's not just for children, but I did animate it. So for each page, it has the struggle that a child might go through, whether it's frustration or feeling sad or lonely. And then the opposite, the right hand side, talks about getting over it and overcoming. And at the end, it's like a rainbow and helping everyone know that they're not alone in the world. And I
Okay.
dedicate it to my family. Yeah,
Sorry,
bubble
Kim, I
struggle.
was muted.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Shantae, for sharing. Joyce, go ahead. You
Yeah.
want to share about your book?
Yeah, sure. And I want to thank you two ladies for the inspirational, excellent presentation. I'm taking away a number of things that you shared tonight. My book is actually it's my family history. Starts with the beginning of the family who was who was enslaved, purchases freedom, bake bread for George Washington's troops at Valley Forge, and then I do the next several generations. Primarily, the reason for the book is that they don't teach history in school anymore. So, in order to have young people know their history, you've got to get out there with them and talk to them. And so that's what I've been doing with my book.
And what's the name of it, Joyce? Can you
Graham's
just
Gift.
Grant's Gift? Awesome. Thank you. Miriam, do you want to share if you have a book?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for Latanya Edinburgh for inviting me as her guest. I am Miriam Smith Stevens, aka your brand paramedic and soul song conductor, and my particular contribution to a published work is in the Abound the Kingdom Paradigm, Her Story. It's a book anthology of ladies who have gone through something, and they're international, all over the place, and young and old. My particular contribution is, I think Latanya or someone said, it is the beginning. And the beginning allowed me to have therapy, therapy on pages to write my testimony. And it's
Nice.
called Learning How to Breathe Again, Just Breathe. In that particular book, starts on page 151, and I'll put a YouTube link because I'm trying to boost my YouTube channel, but also I read a little bit of excerpts, and it just shares my journey from a traumatic life experience, life and death, to now. Well, to how I started to learn how to breathe again, how to interject myself back into life from my own, what
Nice.
I call personal zombie apocalypse of hell. And so that is me. And I appreciate you all for allowing me to be a fly on the wall and to come and look and see and share, and always invite you all to come to some of the events that I am. Latanya, again, thank you so much for the invitation. She was recently one of my speaker sponsors on my monthly events. So I'm always looking for speakers such as yourselves, your ladies,
Nice.
to share about your journeys. I am a storyteller at heart, and I believe we need to reclaim our voices, because why? My theme is be seen, be heard, be known, because why? Your tribe is waiting for you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh,
Awesome.
thank you for coming, Miriam. Ladies, this is the young lady I was saying that, oh my God, I'm gonna have a tear in my eye. This is the young lady I said that she knows a lot that I'm going on, and there's like events, like she said, she'll call me up and be like, okay, let's get this together. And she just helps me. She just guides me, knowing that it's not that I don't want to. She just know I
Mhm.
need that somebody just to grab my hand and pull me along. Thank you, Miriam.
Um, if you don't mind, a shameless plug. I know that
Oh, great.
there's a lady that is a marketer, is an affinity to my heart too. God just allowed me to have a radio interview today, and
Nice.
so I'm gonna put that link in there, and that can give you part of my why again. Girl, don't make me cry. Again, I firmly believe for such a time as this, especially ladies, that we
Mhm.
have to reclaim our voice and that we are necessary for not only the young people, but for our now. And
Mhm.
I work in acronyms, but God gave me a message. That is literally message, MESSAGES. Our mess, which is the first half of message, plus ages, which is for now, this age and ages to come, creates our stories, our messages. So you have a mess sometimes, and that mess is the foundation and brick, the launch pad for your totality of your messages, your stories to come for all of the ages. You put that word together, and that is your message.
All right.
Okay, I'm
Nice.
done. Thank you. You should have
Thank
never
you.
asked me to speak.
No, it's good. That we needed that. We needed that. It was a reason. It was a reason. CF Jackson, you want to share?
Yeah. I don't think I count, but let me turn that on real quick.
I'm finna stop you
Uh-oh.
right there. I'm finna
No,
stop.
no disclaimer. It's a disclaimer. I say
Don't,
that because I say that
don't.
because it's been so long. I wrote my book back in 2004. It's a suspense novel.
It doesn't
So
matter. You said I don't think I count. You just mindset yourself out. You count. So take those words out your mouth
yes, ma'am.
because you count. You
Okay.
count.
Well,
You
the title,
count.
yes, ma'am. Well, my book is Won't Be Denied. It's a suspense novel. I wrote back in 2003, published it in 2004. Haven't focused on it since then, but it was my stepping stone to where I am today. So I speak on Sunday, speaking about the power of building authority using interviews. And so that's what I speak about on Sunday. But I enjoyed writing the novel. I'm glad I wrote the novel. It put me in the position I am today. And I think it was one of the most enjoyable things. And walking through the process of back then compared to today is different. So it's like it's a little thriller. People call it they call it the blight version of Fatal Attraction, but it's not all that simonious in terms of. I enjoyed it because it's about a young lady. Mare, she runs into the bookstore and little does Travis knows he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she becomes captivated by him because of his stature and how he speaks. And he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and girlfriend is falls heads over heels with this guy, and there she is, kind of like in a place of kind of stalking. So people think, is that you? Like, no, it's not me. But I learned a lot about the whole publishing game through writing this book and publishing it through my own publishing company. So that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'm going to end this night with, remember I said I gave y'all one question and you can only add 4 words to this sentence. And we're going to just do one sentence. We're going to say the other one for tomorrow. So I think I'm going to do the I will. So I will, and you had to add 4 words to it. So do you want to go first? Do I have to put my teacher hat on and call people?
Do you want us to put it in the chat as well or just say it?
You can put it in the chat. Let's do it that way. Let's put it in the chat. I will. Use my gift. Yes, yes, yes. Continue to grow on purpose. Share my voice. Any more? All right. All right. Well, I will. I will share my voice and be yes, yes, share my voice. Awesome. So thank everyone for awesome, awesome. I'm trying to read the chat and say thank you at the same time. But thank everyone for joining me
Kim,
tonight.
Dr. Kim, I'm sorry, can I
Yes,
interrupt just for a second? I forgot to
sure.
put my I think I put my email address in the chat. Just wanted to make sure everybody had that. I
Yes.
also have doing a shameless plug as well. I
Go
actually am
ahead.
doing a
Shameless.
strategic activation lab. And so I'm going to put the flyer in the chat. I think it'll allow me to do that. It's
Yes.
February 2nd. Would love for it's free. Would love for you all to participate, sign up,
Awesome.
register,
Make your vision make
make your
sense. Awesome.
vision make sense. It's a strategic activation lab. It's where you're going to bring, it's a checklist of things that I'll, once you register, and you're going to actually bring your, visions are great. Vision boards, I love vision boards. I have vision board pretty much every year. But you need to take the vision and then put some activation with it. And so the whole
Mhm.
execution is where we get stuck. And so
Yes.
what I'm saying is, make your vision make sense. And so doing a live event on Zoom, free. If copy this, just paste it onto your computers. Love for you all to join in on February 2nd and in the evening of February 2nd. Love to have you all. And I'll be providing a checklist. So you're going to actually bring those things that you got your vision board, okay, great. But then can you also bring in, what I always get asked is, okay, so how do I integrate um, my community into what I'm doing? So that means
Mhm.
if you've got, okay, say you're a part of the autism community,
Mhm.
and April is Autism Month. And then locally, you have events that are happening. How do I plug in with those local events? So, what I'm
Right.
asking people to do is bring to the table, to that activation lab, those events, those groups, a list of those kinds of things, dates, and then basically see how we integrate those things into what you're doing, and that helps to execute, that helps to activate your voice in those communities, your business, how you can actually make a quick impact, the networking that happens when you engage with these different things that are happening in your sphere of influence. And so that's what this lab is going to be all about. So I'd love to have you all. Hope you can join in.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
I just downloaded it to Latanya. I'm going to share it tomorrow as
Oh,
well.
good.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. You're gonna get some people.
It's free.
It's-
I just because I really feel like we get stuck
yeah.
with when we talking about our vision, and we've done
Mm-hmm.
this beautiful,
Beautiful. Yep.
display. And yes, I'm putting it on my wall, and I'm gonna, believe in the manifestation of those things. But some
Mm-hmm.
things do take to activate, to
Yeah.
actualize, to step into, and especially when you're trying to do that whole networking thing, and it's like,
Mhm.
how do I integrate what I'm doing with what the community is doing?
Right. Right.
And having a voice, to Latanya's point
Yes.
about having that voice, that people come to know, okay, it's not even about a book, but just having a platform to then,
Mm-hmm.
position yourself for greatness, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well,
I
anyone else want to share before? Go
I
ahead.
will say this too real quick because I don't know if people know this. This is just information. Like I ask for people to put their emails in or information if you want the chat information. If you click on the three dots
Mm-hmm.
and that's at the top where it says author who owns it, and
Mm.
you click save chat, that will keep everything that's in that chat if you needed to
Yeah.
ever go back and get information. Now, I don't know where it's going to save it at on your computer or your phone, but that's how you get all the information.
Yes. Yes, I made sure I built in AI in our conference. So it tracks everything and puts in the wonderful notes for us.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm. All right. Anyone else want to share before we get some rest before tomorrow's big day.
What time tomorrow?
It starts at 10 Eastern time. Workshops all day. You can jump in whenever it'll start from the beginning, jump in whenever you want, but it starts tomorrow. And honestly, the Zoom link you use today is the Zoom link for the whole week, and I was able to make sure that it stayed the same. So you just need the same Zoom link and you can just click in and join us. Tomorrow, like I said, starts at 10 and goes into 7. As you see, it may be something on the agenda, but I keep it moving. If it's not there, someone doesn't show, we gonna keep it moving because we got a lot to talk about. So, and a lot to share. So
So,
tomorrow was really great. Got a couple of things that we're going to be covering.
okay. So, Kim, if you're on a panel or if you're a speaker, then you can use the same link to get in.
Yes, the same link. I was able to keep Zoom allowed me to just keep the same link for the whole weekend.
Okay.
Okay.
Kim, one quick thing I have is I
Sure.
had a couple people who told me that they registered, but
Mhm.
it didn't give them an email. I think Miriam was one, and what I actually did is just copy what you sent me and sent it to her. So, Miriam, can you say what happened?
Same here.
Hi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did.
So
I did.
there's, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Kim. There's a couple people who are, I guess, Miss Jackson, she's saying the same thing that we're sending out to people, but it's not working link. But go ahead, Miriam. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Again, thank you for giving me the link because I did register and I got the initial, you're registered, but nothing
Mhm.
came with it that gave the Zoom access link. And so those who might have registered, you may just need to send a manual email out
Okay.
with the Zoom access link so that we can make sure to join and engage. And
Okay.
again, I have my own podcast. I'm inviting you all to be a part of it because I'm reframing it and I need guests. Spill the tea, you and me. We're going to have actual tea and we're going to spill about whatever you did, your pivot story, your transformation story, your story. Okay, I'm done.
What I'll do, I'll in the Zoom, I'll change it from making people register just to give you this. Once you get it, you get the link. So it's two ways we can do it. So I'll go back in tonight and change that, and then I'll email everybody as well. So we'll make sure everyone gets the Zoom link, and I'll post it all over the place like I always do as well. So we got to make sure everyone gets the information.
Dr. Kim, would you like us to also share this link to our socials? I think I
Yes,
shared the
yes.
poster, but I can reshare the poster and drop
With
this
this
link
link.
in. Yeah.
Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
But
The
yeah.
only
All
thing I
right.
would warn against that, because I just learned about this even more, when I folks put it on my like general social page, I got trolls this last time, really ugly
Mhm.
troll. So
Yeah, that's why
what
we
I
did
Then
the
would
I
say
won't do that.
registration.
is,
I won't do that then.
yeah,
I won't do
what
that. I
I
don't
would
want no
say
trolls.
is maybe like I have a closed group on WhatsApp, maybe
Yeah.
some closed groups or people that want to be here or that might
Hmm.
be interested. Just because I wouldn't want you, Sister Kim, to have that headache to have somebody
Yeah.
come in and say some really profane stuff. Then you got to
And
figure
that's
out how to
why
get
we
them
did the
kicked out.
register.
That's
Hmm.
all.
But yeah,
Okay.
if you know someone that personally that wants to come in, definitely just share the link. But like I said, whoever registered the first time, I'll go through. And I do believe it asks you for your email when you was asked to register the first time. So I'll go through and
Yes.
email those individuals again the link so they have it for tomorrow. But thank you for that feedback. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. Yeah, because I had somebody, she was
Yeah.
ready. I'm like, I don't know, you should get the email soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had several people, and I was just like, I don't know. So I just tried to, and I couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We will get Zoom to fix that because it's supposed to automatically send you the link. That's what Zoom
Mhm.
usually does.
Look, it's technology, girl. Don't worry about that. So you be like, you know what? I apologize. It's technology. Here you go, though.
All right. We'll make sure we get all that good stuff. All right. Well, everyone have a blessed night. See you tomorrow. And thank you again, Latanya and Latanya, for
Thank
starting it
you.
off awesome.
Thank you.
Woohoo! Yes, this was good. Thank you
Thank
again.
you. Yeah,
All
good
right.
night.
See you
Thank you.
tomorrow. Have a good night.
Bye
Good
bye.
night.
No.
Good night.